Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome to this video. Today I'm going to talk about what it means to be a good associate. It's a question I got in the comments from my latest Instagram post. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a photo of me and my associate yesterday. And actually, I don't think a lot of people knew I had an associate from Instagram. One of the questions I got was, what does it mean to be a good associate? And so I thought we'd dive further into that because the answer is not simple. You know, it really depends on a lot of factors. Number one being the practice that you're associating at. Number two being where you are in your journey. So I'm sort of going to break these things down. Obviously, I was an associate before. I've associated both in New York and California before I opened my own practice. I have an associate, so I kind of have a perspective from one end to the other, but a lot of my videos are based on my own personal experiences, and I decided for this video I wanted to reach out and get some more perspectives from other doctors. So this morning I put on Instagram a little sticker question so that other people can give me feedback on what they're looking for in an associate. That way this can be a little bit more well-rounded because every practice is really different. What I've done is I've organized their responses into major categories because there's a lot of overlap. So I think the first place to start whenever we're talking about an associate is the environment. I said in another video, what makes a great associate is someone who can thrive in the environment that you create for them. They may do well in a different environment, and so finding the right fit is really the key when it comes to an associate, because private practice comes in all shapes and sizes. They're not just all small and boutique style like mine. They can be very, very large. They could do all the procedures under the sun. They could just do a few. They could be really, really fast paced, slow paced. DSOs can also be structured really differently as well. And so the second part of this equation is, as an associate, where are you in your journey? Are you really inexperienced, or do you have a ton of experience? Have you done a GPR, AEGD? How much hand-holding do you need? How much mentorship do you need? And maybe the most important out of all of these is how quickly can you adapt to that environment? Finding the right fit is often way more important in terms of longevity than finding a job that will compensate you a lot. So just to give you a little background as to what I was looking for when I was hiring. I have a 2-chair practice, it's a boutique style practice, and so you can imagine if hygiene is in one room and a doctor's in another, there's not really room for another doctor. I have Dr. Julianne there on Mondays, and I don't work Mondays, so that's how we stay open more days, because I only want to work 3 days a week. What I needed in her is much different than if I had like a 4-chair practice and we were working side by side. I need someone who is pretty independent, has some experience, and can be left alone. And so that's what she has. She graduated 2012. She's been working quite a bit in other like practices, so that's something that I look at when I look at resumes. I also look into the Yelp reviews of that practice. Does that practice uphold the same quality of my practice? Quality is something that is teachable, but it takes time. For me, it really comes down to the interview. I really like to meet somebody, see if they are on time, see if they're reliable, see how they're dressed, see how they present themselves, see how they communicate, if they smile, if they look friendly, if they seem to like just fit with the office. It's all about the fit. Once people get a certain amount of independence, they don't necessarily want the owner to be watching every single move that they make. They want that independence. They are qualified dentists. Nobody needs to double check their treatment plans and et cetera, et cetera. Not all owners are going to be hands off. You know, I find in most cases, owners are actually pretty what's the word for it? We micromanage. And I'm not saying that I'm above that. I would say that if me and her were there on the same days, I would probably micromanage her too, because it's just part of my personality. You know, our practices are our babies, and so our practices need to be represented in a certain way, and the associate is the person that's representing us. Okay, that's enough about me. Let's go into what the other doctors were saying they're looking for when it comes to an associate. And it was not a surprise to me that this one thing, broken down into many stems, is the number one thing that practice owners are looking for, and it's attitude and mindset. Someone said, not a know-it-all. You know, nobody likes a know-it-all when it comes to your practice. You know, you're the boss. An associate is an equal in the practice in terms of being a provider, but has to realize that ultimately it's what the boss wants. Willingness to learn technical and soft skills and be coachable. A lot of people said be coachable. Every owner will want you to do something differently, and being open to that and willing to change is a part of being an associate. So to give you an example as to why coachability is important, my husband's practice, he has associates and he works for PDS, a DSO. And like all corporations, like think McDonald's, you want some sort of consistency between all the different locations. So while PDS won't tell a doctor how to treatment plan, a doctor needs to be open to learning how PDS wants things to be run. And that's important on the back end because all those statistics will be monitored by the company, and if you want to move up in the company, then you have to do well on the statistics. And it's not just like, oh, how much money did you make? It's like small little statistics that they look at to see whether you are one of the people that they can promote as a leader in the company. So that's why those sorts of things make a difference. Another example is, I went to UOP for dental school, and it's a 3-year program. And then I went to USC and I started teaching at USC. Did I bring all the principles from UOP and start teaching them at USC? No, because I have to be able to teach in the USC way. USC wants me to teach their students in the way that they want. So you can't just come in and be like guns blazing and be like, this is how I'm gonna teach, this is how I'm gonna do dentistry. You always have to cater to the person that you're working for. So somebody also said a team player, which is really important too. They said someone who's willing to stay late if someone runs behind, willing to help with overflow hygiene, things like that. This person said someone who shares the values of your practice. I think that I've been really driving that in. Okay, and then another person said a problem solver. Yes, a problem solver. You do need somebody who can solve problems and be proactive. The thing is, at this level of education and being a doctor, you should be able to solve problems. Okay, moving along, the next category was communication. Being able to communicate and have good bedside manner and soft skills, that is really important to me and my patient base. Someone put great soft skills, I just said that, non-judgmental and friendly bedside manner. Another person said honesty. Patients can read whether you're honest or not. In order to communicate honestly, that also means that you are treatment planning honestly, and not just to make a quick buck off a patient. Someone said treats people right and not just patients. I think that's super important that an associate that comes into your practice isn't just nice to the patients because they're making money off the patients, but also sees the staff as valuable members of the team as well. Okay, the last one is productivity. Ultimately, we do hire people because we want them to make money for us. That's like kind of the whole point of having an associate, is somebody who fits in, but is also making money and generating revenue. The first one that someone said is efficient. Efficiency is really important because time is money when you're a dentist. You want to be able to do good work and deliver good work, but you don't want to make a patient lay there for 5 hours so that you could do a filling and all that stuff. So if you can do things pretty efficiently, that's always a plus. The next is can produce money and complete procedures in a timely fashion. I guess that's sort of the same thing. And also provide a good experience to a patient. I think patient experience and patient perception is one of those soft skills that it's really hard to teach someone unless it's important to that person. And that person needs to have a certain level of empathy in order to grow that side of themselves as a clinician. Aware of the business aspect too, aware of lab bills, chair time, overtime for staff, and aware of the cost of materials. This is a big one, and I think this is a big one that I think associates do complain about when it comes to their contracts, because depending on the contract, some employers will make the associate pay for the lab bill, and some employers will pay for the lab bill. So you really have to look at your job contract to see which one it is. The other thing is, a lot of associates ask for certain materials that are like really expensive. It shows that you have no idea what practice set you're working at. So like if you're at a high-end practice and you ask for a certain material that they can afford, that makes sense. But if you're in like a low income area and you're asking for like BioClear matrices or something, which are very expensive, that doesn't make a lot of sense. It's one of those situations where you may have to purchase that on your own if you so desire to use that. Otherwise, use what you're given. Okay, and then someone put thirst for knowledge. And that's always important whether you're an associate or an owner doctor. So you should always be thirsting to become better at what you're doing and evolve yourself. Okay, so I hope that was informative. I think there are a lot of intangible factors that make people a really good associate, not just how much they can produce for an owner. And I think every owner kind of prioritizes different things. For some, it is really important for you to produce. For others, it's more important how you fit in and how you treat the staff and treat the patients. And for most, it's a blend of these two. You'll want to remember that these are two-way streets and that you're also looking for a good fit for you. All right, that's it for this video. Sorry if the energy is a little bit low, but I am tired. I'm 20 weeks pregnant, okay? Give me a break. Please give this a thumbs up, put any comments below, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye!